What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have an interesting build. We are going to be playing around with a Zermatt Arms RimX action, building a NRL 22 rifle, and using this action, which is a phenomenal action the way it feels. And we have a pretty cool looking chassis as well from Wooks. Wooks is actually a Manelli brand. This is a Furiosa chassis, so check that beauty out. So I'm pretty excited to put this all together. We're building a NRL 22 rifle with the RimX action. It uses a proprietary kind of a AICS pattern bottom metal, and we'll be building this thing to chamber up the Midas Plus or the Lapua Center X ammunition using this brand new reamer from Dave Manson. This is a 22 Bents reamer. So show you guys the process, give you guys kind of a quick little demo on the lathe, what I'm doing. So I'm doing things a little bit different compared to a center fired rifle, and usually you use a go and no-go gauge for head spacing the barrel. What I'm going to be doing on this one instead, which is a little bit different, is actually head spacing the actual barrel with the ammunition. So we're building this thing to engrave the ammunition right around 1 or 2 thousandths on this bullet, because primarily this rifle will be shooting the Lapua Center X or the Midas Plus. So let's get to it. Let me show you guys the process on the lathe, and let's see how this thing turns out. All right, first things first, we got to start fresh new on the breech end. So we're going to go ahead and cut off about, I'd say, 1/4 of an inch, almost 1/2 inch, and start fresh new on the face. Got the barrel dialed in within 1/2 of 10 thousandths, so basically 100 thousandths, right there on the lands. So this cut's going to be a little hard to do because you got to basically feed this by hand. So spinning the lathe backwards here, we'll go ahead and manually feed this and get it to where it just gets on the edge here. There we go. And we'll advance this compound and keep cutting. Alright, so let me put the phone down. Let me put the camera down and pay attention to doing this. So next up, we're going to start turning down the tenon measurements. So the prints are calling for 1.685 thousandths, but I did measure on this action for mine to be 1.683 thousandths. So we'll go ahead and cut it to 168.3 and then subtract 2 thousandths as well for the crush. So we're looking at 168.1. Alright, so the RimX tenon is all done, and these threads are super tight. Actually, I turned this one to be right exactly on the inside diameter of that action. Let me show you here. So right on the inside diameter where it gets all like super smooth, right there by that the gas hole there, that is exactly like 1 inch and 4 thousandths. So I have this exactly at 1 inch and 3 thousandths. So it's a pretty snug fit. You can see where that action, when I tighten it on, it was kind of pretty much rubbing right here. So basically the idea is to get everything super rigid and super snugged up. That way all of the harmonics are dead in here in this section. Obviously this is where the bullet's going to fire. Any kind of small vibration or harmonics on the 22 long rifle will affect its accuracy. So that's the theory. So having this nice and snug, I actually have these threads kind of in a slight taper, so it actually is nice and loose. Then it tightens up right about the last section here, which makes it super snug as well, right up to the shoulder. So we're pretty much ready for chambering. Like I mentioned, we're not using a go and no-go gauge. I'm actually using a bullet. So highly not recommended to do on a rifle cartridge or center fire cartridge. However, I'm pretty much just trying to tailor this barrel exactly to the bullets that I plan on using. So one thing I forgot to show is the actual muzzle side. I actually look for the high side of the lands, basically trying to time up the actual action. So I actually have the high side set about 12 o'clock, so the curvature of the barrel is actually bowing down. So for the 22 long rifle, I'm gonna try to play around with this. Instead of having it bow up for more of a long range, I'm basically going to have it bow down to have it more consistent at those shorter ranges at 50 yards and 100 yards. majority where the PRS or the NRL 22 targets are. So that's my theory on that one. But there's one thing I do for a lot of these precision builds that I do is I time the barrel, the curvature of the barrel, either at 12 or 6 o'clock. So the chamber we're cutting is called a 22 Bents. This is from Dave Manson. In fact, there's about 3 pages of list of reamers for different leads and angles and all kinds of crap for the 22 long rifle. And from recommendation from Zermatt Arms, they recommended a 22 Bents, and this is a fresh new one from Dave Manson. So pretty small reamer. I'll give you guys a rundown of how I have this thing set up. I do have a barrel through bore flush system. So basically how this thing works is it spits out a reaming oil from Hengstifer's PC46. This is a specially designed reaming fluid. So it'll be going through the bore itself using the Cretan Rifle's bore through flush system. So we'll go really slow. We'll chamber this thing at a 70 RPM. And like I said, it's not going to take long. So the main thing is getting a perfect finish. And that's exactly what this bore flush system does. Okay, so head spacing this barrel was actually extremely difficult. Now I am using a live round, so it's definitely not recommended to do this. My lathe is pointed in a safe direction, but like I mentioned, I'm trying to build this barrel to fit this this bullet itself. So case head protrusion, what I measured here was 53 thousandths for the protrusion, and I wanted about 2 thousandths or 4 thousandths total. So you got 2 thousandths of crush, and then another 2 thousandths for this thing to engrave into the lands. Now, using the live round as a go gauge, that's basically what I'm situating this thing in. And I'm showing right about 54, so about, yeah, right there, 54 thousandths. So about 3 thousandths of crush, about 2 thousandths engraved in the lands. And you can see how I kind of beveled that the barrel there for the contour. What that bevel does is allows the actual extractor to grab. So the little extractor on the bolt itself will grab right about here. So it calls on the prints to have 350 thousandths on the you know, the little flat face here, have 350 thousandths, which is exactly right here on the print. It says 350 or the rim plus 30 thousandths for minimum. So I just went with 350 thousandths. So let's get this barrel finished up and get this thing on the action. Okay, so here's a moment of truth with the headspace. I do have the firing pin removed, so this action is safe, even though this is a live round. So basically what we're looking for is a little bit of resistance, and there you go. So I can feel it right there, engaging the lands, and it's still going to be able to eject really smooth. So I call that right there a pretty good headspace. So it's engraving the bullet just like it should. I think this is going to give the best accuracy. Anyways, let me finish up the contour of the barrel. So basically the tenon, the headspace, everything is done right. Let me go ahead and inspect the actual chamber job itself. And then after that, I'll give it a little slight bevel on the breech end here to give a little bit more of a smoother, we got feeding. So right there you can see where it kind of jams up a little bit. But there we go. Yep. And then obviously control round feed. Pops it right out. So let's check out this chamber job. Starting here at the breech end, you can see the scuff marks as from my 500 grit sandpaper, and just some very minor tooling marks. Like I said, I really didn't go too far with the sandpaper. I didn't want to get into the lands and grooves. But here's the moment of truth. We want to make sure all these lands and grooves are nice and uniform and straight, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. Now this Douglas barrel is a 6 groove design. It's a micro groove design. So making these lands and grooves as uniform as possible indicates that the chamber was cut straight as possible as well. So that's what I'm seeing here, and I think we're good to go. Alright, so I'm starting to cut the crown using a steady here because the barrel is now too short to go through the headstock. So I'm going to basically part this off and cut a crown. So here's the crown. I did a 3-ring crown on this one. Kind of helps mitigate the gases and make them come out exactly uniform. So the inner circle is actually 11 degrees and then the outer circles are 90. So like I said, this helps out mitigate the gases and gets better accuracy from my opinion and my experience. And then we did an outside bevel to help out with the PRS barricades and keep it from snagging. So here's the rifle all put together, and this thing looks freaking phenomenal. Now, Wooks is made by Manelli, and like I said, this is the Furiosa chassis. It's kind of a hybrid system between a chassis and a kind of a traditional walnut stock, so it makes a very classy look. And this barrel is actually 18.5 inches. So pretty happy with this build. I am using the Arken SH4 Gen 2 scope for it for now, and I did add a Arca rail to use my SkyPod. So last things last, let's check it out downrange. Alright, so I just finished up breaking in the barrel right at 50 yards and shooting to my bullet trap over there. Yeah, I know there's things in the way, but I know where these bullets are going, and this thing is pretty damn accurate, so let's check it out. Okay, so this was a CCI match, Subsonic 22. I shot that, and then I went to try to re-zero the rifle with the Lapua Center X. So that's the group there, 3 shots. I then shot some CCI standard velocity, and these were, you know, the typical plinking ammo you get. And I was actually aiming here, but it went all the way over here. So that's not a bad group. And then I started shooting some Lapua minus tack. So here was a 5-shot group there, 50 yards. I then did it again, and the wind did pick up, so I started getting some horizontal stringing. And then the last 5 shots was right here. So that's a stupid accurate group. Sorry for a little echo there, but yeah, that's pretty impressive. So that's the first like 30 or 40 rounds down that barrel, and it's just getting seasoned. Okay, back at 50 yards, I got some of the Lapua Midas Plus back on the rifle. It does have a little bit of wind, and we'll be shooting at the 9 ring at 6 o'clock. So I got this thing pretty zeroed out, pretty happy with the performance so far. So let's go for the 9 ring. Dead center. Let the wind push that one a little bit. A little bit of wind. All right, so that was all 5 shots there. Did have one little on a little bit flyer on the right, but that's because the wind picked up. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. That performance is awesome. Well, folks, there you have it. The Zermatt Arms RimX Action and 22 long rifle. The build, that is it right there. Super accurate. Very happy with the performance so far. The last 5 shots, as you can tell here, pretty damn accurate. So all I could do is do a reliability test. I know there's some folks out there saying that the RimX Action has issues with extraction or feeding. I haven't seen that yet. However, I haven't put this through a competition yet. So what we'll do is we'll run about 1,000 rounds through this thing, you know, simulating dirt, grime, competition settings, to see if we have any hangups. Now, the magazine on this Action is adjustable, and I did adjust it to basically have it to where it's pretty snug. It goes up here, and there is a little bit of play. A very little minimal play. And like I said, everything on here is pretty clearance tight. I mean, it's kind of a, you know, the way I clearance this thing, you can see how the bolts really tight and everything. It's kind of a bench rest style build as far as building the barrel for the Action, but you can see the performance it gains. So custom 22 bench reamer that I have, it does have a different lead angle. I won't really give you the details because I like to make some money. So basically, if you guys want to build one just like this or want to build a RimX Action, hit us up at dpgunworks.com. I do have another one of these in stock, and I do have a barrel, same twist rate. So 1 in 14 twists is what this thing is. This is a Douglas Premium X barrel, 4 groove, or actually a 6 groove design. It's a micro groove barrel, and 18-inch barrel is what that is. Actually 18.5 inch is what that is. So very efficient build, pretty happy. All right, 220 yards, says 7.8. We'll give this thing a try. off the back of the truck here, we'll simulate preloading the magazine and everything, and see if we get this thing going.
First round impact.
First round impact, dude. That's an MOA target too. Okay, this is not even fair.
Okay, we need to do.
Here, let me do a bowling pin.
Hit it? Yeah. No way.
All right, here. Let me just let me finish the rest of this off. That was a miss. The last one was a miss. Is that 10?
Yeah.
Got one more.
Nope. 11.
One more.
That was a ricochet.
Yeah, just under. The wind picked up. So, yeah, your turn. Here. Put your hand on top of here, on top of the scope. On top of the scope. See, it's more balanced. So you hold it right there. Now you can control your canting and everything, and then preload the rifle like that. That way you're more stable. Then you're gonna have to put your right foot up since you're right-handed. Yeah, up. There we go. Okay, good shot. Do it again. Good shot.
Oh, it's so slow. It's so weird.
So slow, huh?
Okay,
So
can I go for the bowling pin?
Go for a bowling pin. See if I can zoom in for it.
I think I hit the rock.
Yeah, you hit the rock. Aim top of the bowling pin.
Like the headshot almost?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
You almost got it?
Dude.
I hit mine the first try.
Because I haven't eaten that much, Dad. I'm kind of shaky.
Okay, well then go for the steel then. Just go for the steel.
I think I'm hitting it, Dad, but it's not.
No, you're not.
Okay,
you're missing it. Okay. You're hitting right side, so hold left edge.
Left edge?
Yep. See? Dead center.
Hit that.
200 yards on a 1 MOA plate, that's pretty good. It's pretty accurate.
Try to go for the bowling pin.
That was low for you.
That the wind kind of picked up a little bit.
Oh, it must be hit high. Go for the bowling pin, right?
Alright. Ow. So I'm not the only one who's missing it.
All right. So far, it's running good. Haven't had an issue, and I'm actually preloading the hell out of this the magazine to see if that's an issue at all. This thing's running great, as you can tell. Ejecting, feeding, and running it as fast as possible. Well, not as fast as possible. I'm running it pretty fast. So
1071 FPS.
yeah. So it's putting out 1,075 feet a second with the minus plus, and that was about 225 yards with a basically a 4-inch plate. So not bad. Pretty happy with that. Well, catch y'all in the next video.